professional jealousy.
Well, on the big podcast with Shaq said Angel actually called me after that rant. And he said, quote, she was upset and she asked me, why didn't you say nothing?
Angel Reese was just given a huge shock when Shaq O'Neal called Caitlin Clark the real deal in her face. Let's face it, that was probably the most embarrassing thing she has ever experienced. This wasn't just any guy talking her up. Shaq was her biggest supporter and had always believed in Clark's abilities.
Because, you know, I'm down. She was like, she's not going to hit that shot. And bam, like, damn, she's not going to hit that shot. Man, like, if I say 10 times you're not going to hit the shot and you hit the shot.
After witnessing Clark dominate the league for a year, Shaw has publicly declared himself a member of Clark's side and boasted about having a fever jersey. Angel likely believed that having Shaw on her podcast would give her a chance to shine, but instead he put Clark front and center, leaving Angel with little except the video fallout of Shaq's candid and rather caustic appreciation for Caitlin.
So I'm the type that when I see something that I don't agree with, I get pissed off.
Shaq said, I had to call Reese and tell her to stop reading comments. You don't owe an explanation to anybody because she jumped on me. Why did you say nothing to Charles, is what Angel Reese told Charles Barkley. And he said she's being too sensitive.
You may wonder why Shaq's admiration for Clark hits Angel Reese so hard, because this isn't just another analyst reciting Clark Marr's praises. Rather, it's Shaq the Shaw, who has been Reese's ardent supporter since the day she moved from Maryland to LSU and was her loudest cheerleader, energizing her as though she were the second coming of his own supremacy. His preferred player was Reese, who added that fierce, unapologetic edge to each and every match.
She's a hell of a player. Like, she does things I can never do. Like, she can really shoot. And she's really good at the free throw line.
Shaq was there to remind her that she was fortunate to be in the league and that many people would love to be in her shoes. He gave her advice to play harder, work smarter, and let the critics choke on their own words because, in Shaq's opinion, Reese had the ability to win over even her most ardent critics. However, Shaw's support went beyond simple shout-outs. Nope, he was fully committed to being her mentor and helping her navigate the storm of social media critics and all of the trolling.
You gotta show up. You gotta buy jerseys. You gotta buy shoes. You gotta do that. They're starting to do that now. And that's because of, you know, how you played and Caitlin and the thing you had, that the game is more popular than ever now.
And then Caitlin Clark came on the scene with a style and skill that caught Shaq off guard. At first, Shaq wasn't sold on Clark and wasn't exactly planning to be her biggest fan. Instead, he watched her games with that iconic side eye, expecting her to lose it under pressure. However, Clark's Final Four performance came along and quickly changed Shaw's mind.
Me and Chuck, we go through this a lot. A lot of time when we critique these guys, you know, these youngsters and these females, they don't understand that all the stuff that they're getting ready to go through, we are the masters of that. So I was just, you know, telling her how to handle adversity.
Shaq's initial doubts about Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, stemmed from his pressure standards. You see, Shaq is a guy who doesn't just give out praise like it's free popcorn, so when a new talent emerges, he watches with his eyebrows raised. He was also skeptical of Clark's ability to handle high-stakes games that pushed players to their absolute limit. In Shaw's mind, if you can't hit the clutch shots with everyone watching, your game isn't up to par, and Clark, with her love of long-range shooting, seemed like a bit of a gamble to him.
You can do what you do, but I have a solution for that, and nobody's gonna like my solution.
I'm here.
So, let me explain why I came up with this solution first.
However, as the NCAA competition progressed, Shaq's skepticism gradually transformed into a reluctant respect, and this is where things start to get interesting. By the time Iowa was battling its way through the Final Four, Shaq was all eyes on Clark, waiting to see if she would falter or thrive under that intense pressure. Clark not only scored goals but also hit these ridiculously deep shots in every game, each one in moments that had everyone glued to their screens. With the defenses practically in her face, each bucket was like another nail in Shaw's doubts until he finally had to admit he was mistaken.
I really want to come and say, do this and do that. I was just coming and, you know, giving her encouraging words, you know, just telling her, you know, to hang in there. Because when you're the best player and you play for a great coach like Kim Mulkey, they stay on you.
She didn't just throw it up. Instead, she nailed it with this effortless confid that left Shaq speechless in that moment. One game, however, sealed the deal for Shaq Iowa, who was in a tight spot with every single point counting, and Clark made this three-pointer from the logo, you read that right, where most players wouldn't even dare to think of shooting.
Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before. I've never seen that before. I've seen it a little bit in Mahmoud Abdul, but I've never seen a guy consistently come down. And if you look at, well, she's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent basis. There's a lot of girls in WNBA that.
Additionally, the first analogy that came to me when Shaq calls someone the truth is that they are unique in a way that transforms the sport itself. There have been many talented shooters, but Clark's consistency from well downtown was something else. Steph Curry-Clark's signature move, those logo 3Es, reminded Shaq of the revolution Curry sparked in the NBA, turning the three-point line into a weapon that could shift a game in seconds.
Best player, you're expected to do everything. So I just told her, I said, listen, I know your coach is a little hard on you, but you have to accept it because you're the best player.
Saw how it attracted attention to the game and how each long-range shot had spectators on the edge of their seats. She was redefining what a woman's player could do on the court and demonstrating that three-pointers could be just as exciting as a dunk. Shaq was enthralled as he watched her execute these fearless shots that were beyond Reese's previous repertoire. Reese's approach was still remarkable, but Clark's skill was suddenly a little more exhilarating and unexpected. Reese's game was all about power and rebounding, but Clark's ability to make threes from anywhere on the court had Shaq giddy with anticipation.
I'm watching y'all in the Final Four, I'm like, damn, like, and I was a hater because, I'm down. She was like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, like, damn, she's not going to hit.
All of this contrasts sharply with players like Angel Reese, who bring that dependable strength-based game. Don't get it wrong, Shaw still respects the physicality Reese brings to the paint, but his inside dominance feels more traditional than Clark's edge-of-your-seat play style. Shaw is leaning toward Clark's unpredictable style, and he's not shy about it. Reese is all grit and grind, but Clark's unpredictable long-range shots add a level of excitement that Shaw can't ignore.
What you did after Charles Barkley, he had his big rant about the jealous women of the WNBA to shut up, being petty about Caitlin Clark and everything else. Well, on the big podcast with Shaq said Angel actually called me after that rant. And he said, quote, she was upset and she asked me, why didn't you say nothing?
Furthermore, this change in Shaq's enthusiasm is fostering a new dynamic. Shaq was all in on Reese from the get-go, her loudest fan, mentor, and go-get-them guy. But now he's singing Clark's praises louder than ever and putting her front and center of his admiration, which must hurt Ree, whose once assured spotlight is now shared with Clark, the player who's reviving Shaw's focus with every game. Shaw's fascination with Clark's game goes beyond a casual interest. It's a full-fledged recognition that she's advancing women's basketball and ushering it into a new era.
No, see? And
I hate when men say that.
But listen, that's the only difference.
We start dunking and what?
Watch. We got
And let's face it, part of what's enabling all this buzz is the rivalry between Clark and Reese. According to Shaq's, the dynamic between Clark and Reese is adding drama that the league desperately needed rivalries to fuel sports. And in Shaq's opinion, Clark versus Reese is creating a plot that keeps fans glued to the screen for Shaq. This rivalry could be the catalyst that turns the WNBA into a must-watch event, and Shaw recognizes that. However, with all this praise for Clark comes a harsh reality for Reese. Shaw's admiration for Clark isn't just changing his perspective, it's highlighting Reese, who formerly had Shaq's unwavering backing as a perspective. League legend now shares the stage with Clark, a player who Shaw believes has the potential to genuinely broaden the WNBA's appeal. Clark's talent is only one aspect of her appeal. She also has a captivating style and the ability to make every game feel like an occasion. This is Shaw's subliminal hint that Clark may be the one to lead women's basketball into its next phase.
Guys got some handles. Girls got some handles. Oh, we got this. We got that. Oh, we got talkers. Oh, we got brawls. Only thing is missing is the dunk.
This change isn't merely a setback to her pride. It's an admission that Shaq may no longer be her only source of support. Clark's ascent has made it very evident that Reese now possesses. Despite Shaq's initial allegiance, it appears that he has since turned his respect toward Clark, who is not just a talented player but also a true game-changer in Shaq's eyes. There is fierce competition not only for titles but also for influence and visibility.
I'm telling you.
I don't think
what?
so.
Bro, you dunking and getting, man, trust me in the change. Trust me in the change. I'm telling you right.
So.
Bro.
And what could be more eye-catching than Shaquille O'Neal, a man who reinvented the dunking technique and suggested a complete change to women's basketball as a result of Clark? Yes, Shaw's most recent proposal to lower the rim is his grand vision to increase the excitement. He thinks this move could draw in crowds who are hungry for that slam dunk spectacle because, to him, math dunks are the NBA's greatest moments. He also thinks that women's basketball should have the same level of excitement, and Shaw has one player in mind for this potential revolution: Caitlin Clark.
I like how y'all are starting to get into fashion. Bro, a pretty girl dunking on the rim, I'm watching that all the time. You laughing.
A man is not turned on by no woman that's dunking.
It ain't about being turned on.
Clark's game is already turning heads with her logo shots and clutch assists, but Shaw sees even more potential if she can take it to the air. He's been a big fan of her fearless long-range shooting and ball handling, but in Shaw's vision Clark would be soaring above the rim dunking with the same intensity she brings to those deep threes. He's convinced that if the rim were just a bit lower, Clark would pull off the kind of electrifying plays that fill up highlight reels and pull in fans by the thousands. For Shaw, it's about creating stars who push the sport to new limits, and CLK got the athleticism to lead that charge. So while Shaq's suggestion fuels plenty of debate, it also adds to the buzz around Clark's rise. If the WNBA ever considers lowering the rim, Clark would be in prime position to redefine the sport, attracting fans with both her dunks and her shooting prowess. It's a controversial idea, sure, but Shaq's endorsement gives it a weight that's hard to ignore.